Alright, taking a quick look at the deck tech before we get rolling on this gameplay with Keruga Fires. As a friendly reminder, if you do like this content, please consider subscribing to both Arena Nexus MTG, in which this channel is on, as well as Pioneer Nexus MTG, where there will be a link to it when we're playing up our Pioneer guide for Keruga Fires. So obviously, Keruga, kind of the centerpiece of the deck. You're playing anything 3 mana or less in your deck as a result, but you can get around this with adventure creatures, fusion cards, etc. Or split cards, I should say. And then obviously Bonecrusher Giant, Brazen Borrower, all these different things you can play. You're a Fires of Invention deck, trying to cheat on mana a little bit, and then you're playing a whole bunch of lands to be able to cast your spells in the event that you can't draw Fires of Invention. And then your top end's kind of Cavalier of Thorns and Kenrith, kind of having this way to give all your creatures haste, beat them down very quickly. Leyline Binding kind of gives you a collect-all answer to everything, especially with your 5-color mana base. And then Colossal Skyturtle is just a way to bounce problematic things. Deafening Clarion, this can be temporary lockdown, this can be Anger of the Gods, whatever you want, just a way to buy time against aggressive decks. Fable the Mirror Breaker as kind of the card selection, way to accelerate a little bit, and then Bonecrusher Giant as a little bit of interaction in the early turns, plus an early threat against control. Sideboard, Knight of Autumns for any type of artifacts or enchantment nonsense, vehicles decks, any type of Card of the Great Creator decks, etc. Also reasonable against the Fires mirrors, whether it be the Mono Red Fires DAG, the Keruga Fires list, etc. Leyline Void, this is primarily here for both Izzet Phoenix, at least when you're in the full Pioneer format, and also for Greasefang, which you're more likely to see in the Explorer format that we're playing. Mystical Disputes for any type of control decks or Spirits decks trying to resolve your spells. Anger and Depopulate, mostly this would be Supreme Verdict and Anger of the Gods if you're playing the more full-powered version, but obviously very good sweepers. And then Chandra Awaken Inferno, potential late game sweeper against aggressive decks, but also a very good finisher against the control decks. So let's get into a couple matches and see how this deck plays out. Alright, here are our first matchup with Keruga Fires. A lot slow of a hand. We do have a Leyline Binding and an Omnath, so we'll keep it because our mana is pretty functional overall. But could be a slow hand. Probably lead on Jetmir. Do we lead on Jetmir? Either way, we could have a turn 2 Leyline Binding if necessary. So, not terrible. Okay, we're up against Humans, which obviously we would love to have turn 1 a Deafening Clarion, but Dog as a Tenant. Pump the Jam. Okay, so if I shock in, Island Plains that. Apparently I was supposed to play Jetmir as that turn, because then I would have access to Forest, whereas I don't have Forest on any of my lands. So I'm gonna get, okay, that's the one that's gonna die. Though hold on to Leyline Binding. Probably taking this guy out, but because we don't want them drawing cards. Obviously, them growing their guys is terrifying, but I'll take the 4 here and like it. Opponent should have played something pre-combat, but they chose not to. Next turn, I think we're just going to run Eiganjo out there. Play tap land, and then following turn we get to go Omnath plus Fabled Passage. Well, yeah, that's fine. It doesn't really change our play at all. Minimize the damage here. hell? Guess we grab Swamp to have all the colors. We get to play Kenny Boy. Even if our opponent has one removal spell, they're still in trouble. It's possible we were supposed to pick up Keruga, but I think we needed to stabilize more. It's like, which one do I kill? Because they probably have a Barukathar, but they still really can't attack. And even without a Deafening Clarion, we were able to kind of stabilize. I kind of talked about in the deck overview on the Pioneer Nexus channel was just, you know, aggressive decks have trouble fighting through the big dumb idiots plus Omnath. So, yep, they're going to Cathar. Dealing with Omnath, sure. And then they still have no good attacks. I mean, they can to punch in, what, 4 damage? So... get to do that. Get Omnath back, draw another card. And then... and our opponent scoops. Alright, so against them, we want the anger, we want the depopulate. Knight of On doesn't feel necessary. Colossal Skyturtle might be a little slow. And maybe a copy of Fable, maybe. Just kind of call it a day from there. One of the nice things about Explorer over Pioneer, obviously, is you don't have to face much mono green, because obviously mono green doesn't have access to Nykthos, and a full-blown Bant Spirits is not available. You know, if you look at the top decks, obviously Lotus Field's not available. Mono green at its full power is not available. Rakdos is primarily at its full power. Humans doesn't have access to whatchamacallit, Brave the Elements. Mono Blue Spirits is mainly intact. Bant Spirits is not. Obviously Azorius Spirit's not. But Blue-White Control has most of its full tools. So, get an interesting spread of the format. You see a little bit more Grease Fag in this format. So, yeah. I think Clarion alone would keep this hand. Then you have access to a whole bunch of awesome things. Obviously, they have Thoughtseize or whatever, it gets annoying. One will probably have Thalia or something. Charming Prince. Scry 2. Obviously, Clarion not as good as something like against Adeline, if that is the card they have here. Doesn't look like it though. Looks like they might have like Skyclave. They just have nothing. Are they trying to play the full 3 colors? For like Collected Company too? Oh, that's very greedy. Yep, they're playing the full 3 colors. No blocks. Skyclave Apparition. Yeah, you can't get the token, friend. Interesting. Get this down, play Clarion. We'll attack first, see if they block. Obviously they get to protect Skyclave, but Skyclave is not the best in their deck anyway. And even if they have an answer to the first Fires of Invention, we just have Kenny plus another one. Buy this. Play Kenny. Interesting time to play Collected Company. I would think they would have waited for, I guess they were looking maybe for Skyclave Apparition, perhaps. Pass the turn. Dog is Lieutenant, sure. That's terrifying. See if they decide to kill which one first. Just makes sense to kill Kenny, but we have a second copy of Kenny. See if they sort that out. They do not. Cavalier. So I think I play Cavalier first, pitching these two. Obviously we were looking for an Omnath there. But just gonna go ahead and play this, deal with you. I think we just hold back for another turn. We could have got threatened lethal, but if anything goes wrong, they literally have to have 2 removal spells here to kill us. Collected Company could do that. Potentially they'd need like double Brutal Cathar. Kenny. Play a Bonecrusher Giant. It's Kenny to bring back Cavalier. Pass turn. And yeah, I mean, it's a nice card. You get nothing. Take an inspector, sure. Okay, put a counter on this one. Turn Keruga. Apparently I need to fetch my swamp first. And our opponent scoops. Nice way of showing off the power of Keruga Fires. Alright, taking a look at our second match. We'll be able to play 6 lands. Skyturtle can't keep. 1 lander. Guess we're going to 5. Okay then. I think we're playing 27 or 28 lands, so say la vie. Guess we're keeping this. Putting back Kenny. Putting back. Turn 3 cards. Leyline Binding and Fires maybe? I mean, it is what makes the deck go round, so I guess we hope to draw here. Okay. It's 10 of the Bugbear, so Rakdos. I have no idea what's going on here. Okay, some type of land destruction pile nonsense. Good to know. Karn the Great Creator. So ideally we draw a land, we can go Bonecrusher Giant. All Fires into casting Bonecrusher, kill that. Okay. Alright, we're just kind of too far behind here, but we'll play a little bit more. But not hitting land drops in a 28 land deck, just kind of annoying. Looks like we're just up against like mono red walkers. Okay. Fires into Omnath. They get something like, I don't even know what, God Pharaoh statue. A lot of indestructible lands. It's something you would expect to see out of like Nissa or something. Unless it's just to have something for their cleansing wildfire. Which I know there's a style of deck that does something similar in Explore. Okay. Alright. Well, moving on. So we're going to want these guys. Doesn't really feel like a Clarion matchup much. I think our primary game plan's fairly reasonable against them. We have a fair number of basics, so even if they go after our lands, we should be relatively fine. I don't know about this hand. It's very reactive. No fires. This hand is a little too fabled, but I still think we'll keep it. We have every color but black. Green, blue. They blow us up with... Okay, it looks like they have like Bonecrusher Giant here or something, which is fine. Okay, opponent hits with their own Fable. That is a treasure creature, so get rid of this, get rid of the other Fable. We really wanted to draw. Destroy. They are also a Fires of Invention deck. Okay, Bonecrusher is whatever. Scan, blow up your Fires of Invention. They are also stuck on lands. Not anymore, I guess. apparently we're just not meant to catch a break this game. Take a hit for 4 and like it. Solemn's just kind of whatever. Let's take care of this Bonecrusher Giant. Well, I mean, it's a card at least. Use this to stabilize the board. It has got another Fires of Invention into Chandra. Okay, we draw Fires. Problem is, almost effectively, whatever we do here is just going to get cleaned up by Chandra, so let's force them to sweep the board. Then next turn, if we draw a land, we can kill their Chandra and kind of go nuts from there. Okay, apparently they have some other way to deal with the board. Karn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, give me a land deck. Yep. Okay. They do realize this is not going to work out how they hoped, right? I guess Chandra can take down to kill it. Exile it? Yeah, exile instead. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, draw 2. Okay. What else you got to play with? Combustible Gearhulk. So nice. He killed Kenny. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if our opponent has some way to deal us 2 damage, we're in some trouble. Yeah, I don't know that I care about that. I was grabbing something else outside the game. So they can't cast Meteor Golem. Solemn Simulacrum. Okay. So they're just trying to buy time. So we'll force them to chump block. Opponent draws a card. I think we just play that out tapped, obviously, because we don't want to take additional damage. And it's got a Field of Ruin, not really a big deal. Okay, well, that's unfortunately game. So they're basically doing what we did, but just a mono red version of the deck. Taking a look at a quick wrap up with this, obviously when we get to do our thing that we saw against the humans decks, we're very powerful against early aggression decks, even when we don't have something like Deafening Clarion to kind of stem the tide in the early turns, or Temporary Lockdown, or Anger of the Gods, or any other 3-mana red-based sweeper you want to play in this spot. Obviously you could play the new 3-mana one from the Brothers War that'll be coming out as, you know, kind of a hedge against the artifact decks. But, you know, whatever you're doing, 3-mana sweeper to buy you time. You know, once you get in the mid to late game, obviously we can go pound for pound with most decks. The one thing we saw is obviously you need to hit your early land drops. You need to hit up to land drop number 5, hence why you're running 27, 28 lands in these builds. Obviously you have some utility with things like Eiganjo, with things like Otawara, Boseiju, but, you know, you have a very mana intensive deck, and if you don't hit your early land drops, you can be in a lot of trouble. Fable helps with that somewhat, but if you don't hit land drops at least 1 through 4 to at least play your Fires or Omnath, you're in a world of trouble, as we saw against mono red Fires of Invention with, you know, Cleansing Wildfire, Field of Ruin, etc. The nice part with playing the Fabled Passage land base for Omnath is we do have plenty of basics to fetch, so even if our opponent's Cleansing Wildfiring and Field of Ruining us to death, you know, we still have plenty of basics to fetch, so we're not quite as worried in those matchups as a lot of these 4 and 5 color mana bases can be. Leyline Binding, obviously very important in a lot of spots, otherwise you don't have a lot of answers to a lot of permanents, especially in game 1. Planeswalkers, especially on the early turns, things like Liliana the Veil and stuff can be kind of annoying, as you don't really have a good ways to deal with it other than Leyline Binding. You know, any number of early plays obviously can be annoying when you're playing a deck that basically doesn't start until turn 3, with the exception of things like Bonecrusher Giant. But overall, I think you saw both the power and the weaknesses of this deck without running into, say, a traditionally bad matchup like, say, Blue-White Control or Mono Blue Spirits. And that is, the early turns are very crucial to this deck to survive. You know, a deck like something like Greasefang could obviously get you in the early turns, especially if you don't have a Leyline in the Void on turn 1, or turn 0, I should say, in the post-board games. So game 1, you're kind of a bit of a dog to that, unless they have a slower draw. If they have a slower, more mid-range draw, obviously your Cavalier of Flame and Kenrith can kind of overpower even their Parhelions and stuff. So overall, I think this deck is very powerful and very fun to play, and just did want to have an example out there, both to link on the Pioneer Nexus channel as well as getting some more content for the Arena Nexus channel. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hope to see you for our next Explorer/Pioneer video.